What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Bucco Territories, presented to you by the Foul Territory Network. I'm Mark, aka Platinum Key, and joining me today is Josh Harrison, aka Platinum Key. What am I saying? This is why Noah does these things. Josh, aka Jay Hay, and I'm a little jittery today this morning because I'm pretty amped up. We got some huge, massive Pirates news this morning with Konnor Griffin signing the biggest Pirates deal in team history. 9 years, $140 million. He's going to be a Pirate through 2034. Josh, what's your instant reaction to this?
First and foremost, congrats to Connor and his family, and I mean, like, I don't want to say about time, but about time. For one, getting this deal done with Connor, as we just spoke on our episode that aired this morning.
Yeah.
Time was ticking, but also about time for the Pirates continuing to be in the news forefront for doing things a little differently. Not only this off
Right.
season but currently in season. And just building on the momentum that they've kind of created this off season into the early part of the season. And don't want to say it was inevitable, but knew that this was on the brink, and to wake up to it, and for it to be announced kind of first thing this morning. I think that's some good buzz that one has already been around the city, and just one of those things that to know that, man, you got a piece that's going to be here for 9 years, but not only 9 years, they're focused on the now.
Right.
So that's exciting to see.
Yeah. And just focusing on the now here, we'll pull up. Noah's currently at the press conference right now, so he's unable to join us, but he does have some details to share here with us. So we mentioned the 9 year, $140 million, but there's also $10 million in escalators. Connor's due to receive a $12 million signing bonus, but that's going to be paid out over the next 3 years, with $5 million due in 2026 this year, and then $3.5 million in 2027 and $3.5 million in 2028. Also, as we mentioned on this morning's episode, this deal is going to take effect beginning this year. So that was a big push by both Konnor and his team, and the Pirates as well, to get this deal done before April 14th. So glad they got that done. And he remains PPI eligible because he's debuted, which is, for anyone unfamiliar, that's the prospect promotion incentive, where if he wins Rookie of the Year this year, or if he finishes top 3 in MVP voting in the next 3 years, the Pirates will receive one first-round pick, compensatory first-round pick at the end. But they only get one, so if he wins Rookie of the Year, forget about the MVP voting. But Pirates were really interested in that, part of the reason why he's up here, but also, as we saw last night, he's already contributing to this team. He went 2 for 4, had 2 RBIs, a run scored after O'Neal Cruz drove him in. He went first to home, so we saw a little glimpse of what Connor's going to be bringing to this club for the next 9 years. And Josh, I want to get your thoughts on this. I was thinking, one of my initial thoughts was, I think Ben Cherington's job just got a lot easier in the upcoming offseason. Do you think free agents are going to change how they view the Pirates organization a little bit after this deal? I mean, it's the biggest deal in history. It's a superstar prospect. Are guys going to be more willing to come to the Pirates, or do you think there's still going to be some apprehension and they're still going to have to overpay, as we talked about all offseason?
I don't want to say they'll have to overpay, because I think, one, we talked about multiple times, is winning solves everything.
Yeah.
So as we said, they're focused on the now, and if they continue this trajectory that they're on, they're going to be winning in the near future, and that's always going to be appealing to free agents. And by then, you're not looking at the overpay, because by then, hopefully, you've caught up to the market, because yes, you were able to extend Konnor Griffin, and that speaks volumes about the direction that they're headed. But not only that, yes, this offseason, they were able to make some moves through trade, some free agency. It'll be interesting to see what they do going forward, because I don't think you take this momentum, and as you say, I don't think it makes Ben Cherington's job any easier. I think it makes it harder, because you have to justify making these moves. And I'm not saying the money wise, I mean, like you can't do this 9-year extension and then over the
there's less
next
left. Yeah.
oh yeah, over the next 9 years, be like, okay, well, we extended Connor, and not do anything to put the pieces around,
Right.
to win. So when I say it got harder, just because when you're going for something, it's always going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy,
The
and
pressure's
you're pretty much
amplified.
starting. Yes, you're starting from pretty much the bottom. So I think that makes your job harder, but at the same time, it can make it somewhat easier in ways once you start to build that momentum, because it's like, okay, this is a place that is starting to be appealing. Look at what they're doing, and they've already kind of created that kind of wave, and that mark this offseason heading to now with this extension of Connor. So it's a little bit of both, and I think that's just going to be dependent on how the rest of this season plays out.
Hmm.
Because obviously, we've spoken on the podcast about the additions that they've made this offseason, how they're already making an impact, and that's already been seen around baseball. So they continue to do what they're doing, is going to make Pittsburgh appealing, which it's one of those cities that should always be appealing because it's an amazing sports town.
Yeah. I mean, John Heyman this morning was just tweeting out, "Is this the year of the Pirates?" So just that kind of national recognition already is starting to come to fruition, and it's really cool to see. One other topic, just kind of I wanted to bring up, was how much I appreciate Konnor Griffin off the field as well. He really seems like a genuinely good guy with a great role model for a lot of kids in this city. Great head on his shoulders. Seems like a great teammate. You can tell just the way guys are reacting to him in the clubhouse. It's not like, oh, this superstar prospect that's just got his head full of helium just thinks he's like the man out there. No,
Right.
he's humble. He's down to earth. And I just really like to see that it seems like the culture of this team is going in a great direction now, with him as one of the pillars of it alongside Paul Skeens. So really liking what the culture is. And I don't know if you've seen that at all, Josh, and you can speak at that better than I could with what vibes in the dugout mean to like a team's chances of winning. But have you seen like a cohesion that could continue to build for this team?
Oh yeah, for sure. One, anytime somebody new comes up, whether they've been in spring training, whether they haven't, they've been traded. It's always going to be, the thing of, as you mentioned, cohesiveness. How does this person blend in, with what they already have, and how does this person add to it if they do, and how do the guys rally around them? And yes, it's easy to say, oh man, he's 19, as you say, he's a prospect. He carries himself really well. So I think that also makes it easy for guys to root for him and allow them to, say, hey, come on, right,
Right.
jump aboard. Like you coming along with us. And that probably does a lot for him as a 19-year-old, being 2 years ago, everybody in school with him is around his age, to where now it's like, oh yeah, man, you are still looked at as, they're like, yeah, man, you are a young pup.
Yeah.
But so those moments for him is probably rewarding to know that, oh man, these guys have welcomed me. So I think that speaks measures on not only the team and what they're trying to build, but just the more that you can allow him to come up and be himself and help you out win ball games, I think it helps them. And there's no rhyme or reason, because I've seen teams that are really good.
Right.
They keep it together in the dugout, and that's not to say that there isn't things that happen behind closed doors where people are holding each other accountable. Hey man, you didn't run that ball out, or you did. But
Hmm.
they don't make it a blow up moment to where it's like, oh man, there's some trouble within those walls where
Right.
you want to be in that position to say, yeah, they hold each other accountable when there's effort things involved. Hey man, you got to do this, you got to do that. But look at them, they're the best of friends, because when you have that respect for each other, you can get on each other in those moments, but know that it's coming from a place of like, bro, we all want to win.
Right.
And that's what you need to build.
Yeah, and
And you
having that
can't
kind of
have,
trust with your teammates
yeah,
that you can have those
you can't have
conversations.
18 of 26. You want it to be 26 of the 26.
Right.
Um, and that's ultimately kind of where you want to be, and that's what you see them building. And started when we talked about Don's, DK's message to
Hmm.
the boys in spring. But to pivot, before I go a little bit more, I want to ask you, how does it feel, just all things aside, you don't have to be speaking Noah's numbers, that we, as a fan,
Yeah.
what is this feeling like? Because as players, we know what it's like when but as a fan, especially when it hasn't really been much to cheer for, in so many years, to hear something like, oh, the Pirates have signed, largest extension to
Right.
a, prospect. Like, what was going through your head? Like,
It's surreal. Yeah, I pinched myself. Like, did I oversleep? Is this a dream? It's crazy. Even knowing that it was coming, it still feels so surreal. Like, I was trying to mentally prepare myself for, like, all right, the Pirates are going to sign a superstar for the next decade, and like, we have our own Sidney Crosby, the own Ben Roethlisberger, like a face of this team that's going to be here. Yeah, we have Paul Skeens, but we all know he's going to be way out of a price range of not just the Pirates, a lot of baseball teams in the current
teams.
market. I don't think the Pirates have 50 million that they can give to one guy, and that's probably what it's going to take. So having that kind of like now negated, like, all right, we might lose Skeens down the road, maybe, who knows, after the CBA, who knows,
Right.
but at least now you have a superstar face of the franchise. Like, kids can go out and get a Konnor Griffin jersey and confidently wear it to the ballpark for the next decade. And that's a great feeling as a fan. And the Pirates really haven't had a lot of that. Sure,
Right.
they've signed Brian Reynolds and Mitch Keller and Key Brian Hayes to extensions in the past, and those are great. Those are great building blocks. But none of those guys were perennial all-star, superstar, like MVP conversation level. As much as I love Key Brian Hayes, they're very good in their own right. But I mean, this is a
Right.
different kind of level, and it just has catapulted the Pirates onto the national stage, where obviously Pat McAfee's like from Pittsburgh, but you're seeing all these clips of the cone on ESPN constantly every morning. Like, it's getting all this national recognition, and it's because this team is, one, fun and talented, and that's just not anything that we've seen in the past 5 years at the very least. So it's
Right.
so refreshing. Like, it's hard to not just wake up and be optimistic every morning. And then you look at like the starting rotation and be like, oh, we have another guy who's just going to shove. Like, Mitch Keller's going out there this afternoon. Great, we're going to get
Right.
6 innings, another quality start. The bullpen's going to be great. Gregory Soto's absolutely shoving. Dennis Santana is going to pitch 2 innings because he hasn't pitched at all because he hasn't needed to. Yeah, we're in a great spot as a fan base. Yeah, you can just just this has got me going right now. I have one
Good. Good.
one other question for you here, at least, Josh.
Yeah.
Now that Konnor is signed, what kind of weight does that take off of his shoulders? Like, when he's coming up to the plate these past few games, do you think you obviously signed your extension just a couple? Was it just a couple days after opening day, right, or right before
Like,
opening day?
it got announced the second game of the season. So I played opening day,
Okay,
had an off day in between when I got my physical. Next day, showing up to the ballpark, it gets announced, like, just like Connor last night plays the
exactly.
game.
Yeah, and
you
so can you
know,
speak
and as
like, how does that
yeah, he's
feel?
playing the game.
Yeah,
A lot of emotions, a lot of thoughts, because um, keeping everything to yourself. Because one, you
mm-hmm.
don't want anything to be leaked on your part. Obviously, you and your family know. But it's like,
Right.
mom, dad, you like,
Yeah.
if you tell grandma, whoever,
Mm-hmm.
they or just let them be surprised if you worried about
Right.
them
Yeah.
leaking it.
Yeah. They'll know soon. Yeah.
But also, it's one of those things where it's like everything that led up to it, all the conversations of they're talking and media reports. Hey, you're answering questions about contract extensions and you just want to play. Um, it's one of those things where, okay, now that it's out, I don't have to, walk around and act like, we're not talking or this or that. Like, I can take a deep breath. Not that I
Right.
haven't, but kind of like the cat is out the bag. And
Mm-hmm.
now, okay, we can really rock. Not that, he wasn't rocking
Right.
before, but you know, that's a lot to deal with, especially in a quick time frame, because you're still managing, as I said, day to day, playing and day to day life.
Yeah.
His life isn't just revolved around, playing for the Pirates and, signing a contract
Yeah.
extension.
He doesn't just shut down and then reboot after like the 2.5 hours of a game.
He
Yeah.
just got married.
Yeah.
He just got married. He's a husband. He's a son. Like, there's more to it. So it's like managing all that is a lot. So I think it'll be a big weight off of his shoulder to know, like, all right, I don't have to answer
Yeah,
these speculations anymore. We can just let it be. And
just focus on
it's
winning.
exciting for him, exciting for Pittsburgh. And I'm not gonna speak it. I think Pop's already spoke it, but I think they might have to do something with that Connor's corner.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that's going to be like next week. They need to get that done. Yeah, some
Yeah.
kind of branding. Yeah, yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for everyone for tuning in for this emergency episode. If you are new here, I'd like to just remind you that subscribing is the best way to get all of our content. Like it if you would like as well, and maybe drop a comment, get us some engagement going down there to get the algorithm going. And we'd also love to see you in some Bucco territory merch walking around PNC Park. Maybe wear your Josh Harrison jersey with a nice Bucco territory beanie. If it's cold out there, you can bring your cone in our Bucco territory bag, or maybe sip some hot chocolate on the sidelines with your Bucco territory mug. Any final thoughts here, Josh?
No, just as we said, emergency episode, exciting. Very big congrats to Connor and his family, and excited for the Pirates, and they got their shortstop of the future
Yeah,
and shortstop of now. So continue to build off this momentum.
beautiful. All right. Well, I'm Platinum Key, and he's Josh Harrison, aka Jay Hay. Thank you for listening to another episode of Bucco Territory, presented to you by the Foul Territory Network.